Hey, everybody. I hope you're doing well tonight. This is Kim Danke back again for our part 2 of getting you started in the Shibboleth lifestyle. So I give everybody until 8:03 to hop on. So let's take care of a little housekeeping first. Please look at your chat button. And in your chat button, please click it and make sure that you have your chat set to all panelists and attendees. And then just let me know that you are back again. Say hello. If you joined me last night for the Shibboleth lifestyle overview, which is very, very important. If you didn't join me last night for that, maybe you've already watched the video, which is on the website, and let me know where you're from. And we'll do a little chatting while we are waiting. My name is Kim Danke. I am your Shibboleth new member fast track instructor. I lost 50 pounds last year, and I have been maintaining that now for about 16 months, and thrilled and excited to be maintaining that. So tonight we're going to do the food combining, simple food combining. But when you hop on, please say hello, where you're from. If you're new or here for a refresh, please let me know that. Looks like I've got Alan and Janice on here tonight. I'm missing the 2 people that were on last night, so I'm wondering where they are. Hello on Facebook. Those of you that are watching on Facebook, welcome. We're glad you're here. Let's see, Alan and Donna from Lakeland, Florida. Alan is just starting and watched video 1 tonight. Awesome. Donna has lost 60 pounds this year on Shibboleth. Way to go, Donna. That is awesome. Congratulations. And thanks for getting Alan started. That is fantastic. Wonderful. Okay, it is 8:03. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to get started. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And tonight I'm going to share my screen with you, and you don't have to worry about screenshotting this like you're not going to ever see it again. It's already on the website. It's on the website right underneath the videos. Hey, Carrie on Facebook. Hello, Shasta, and on Facebook from Dallas. Welcome. I'm glad y'all are here. So you don't have to worry about screenshotting this like you're not going to get it again. Hey, Janice from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, just getting started. Welcome. We're so glad that you are here. That is awesome. So I'm going to show you real quick where this is on in your account so that you'll know where to find this tomorrow. It's 2 places. If we go in here into the videos and I click on the Fast Track video library right here where it says Fast Track Sunday and Monday night webinar. When I click there, and I click on the Simple Food Combining Monday night webinar, if there's ever any materials that are with a video, they're going to be below the video in a light blue box. So there's a couple of links right there, but this right here is what we are using tonight. It was that very first link. So you have access to this right there on the website, so you don't need to worry about screenshotting things like you're not going to be able to see it again. I'd rather you take important notes of foods that you like and things that you would eat together. That's more important to do tonight. Also, the other place that you would find this would be in the Fast Track Laps. So in your dashboard, if you're brand new, then your Fast Track Laps are showing up right away. But if you're not, we click on dashboard, then we click on the Fast Track, and right here in lap 3, it says save this simple food combining link. That's also the link too. And the reason I say to save it is just so that you can have it easier access, maybe as your favorites bar on your computer, or maybe as a link on the home screen on your phone. But honestly, you don't even have to do either one of those as long as you know where it is to be found on the website. You can check that box once you've done that. But this is also a place to find the little website that we're going to use tonight. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight is you're going to hear some more foods that go into these categories. So what I'm going to do is read every time we come to a new category. I'm going to go over cooking oils one time. I'm going to go over condiments one time, and then we are going to look at some other categories. So just to make this night kind of move through smoothly, I'm only going to read the new categories that we get to. So category 1 is a lean protein. We can eat a category 1 lean protein all by itself. So there are 7 categories of food. 5 of them we can eat all by themselves. We can eat lean protein by itself. We can eat that's a category 1. We can eat category 2, fibrous carbs by themselves. We can even eat category 4, protein plus fat by itself. We can eat category 6, superfood by itself, and category 7, shellfish by itself. So it's just 2 categories, category 3 and 5, the energy carbs and the fruit that we do not eat by themselves. So let's read over some lean proteins. Well, it does also say 2 to 8 ounces. So that's how much protein that you can have. Ladies usually go, 2 to 6, men can go 2 to 8. So your egg whites are here, your fish, all fish is here, chicken breast, turkey breast, pork tenderloin, boar's head turkey, boar's head chicken breast, boar's head London broil, low-fat cottage cheese, fat-free cottage cheese, Greek plain yogurt, Hebrew National 97% lean beef frank, 96% lean ground meat. So all of those things are options as a lean protein. I do want you to know that the lists of things that we're looking over tonight are very small. They're just kind of there to get you started. There's much larger lists on the website. If you are a silver level member or higher, then your lists are huge. There's 6,000 to 8,000 items in the food library. If you're a Fast Track member, you have a little bit smaller list, and I do recommend that you upgrade to silver so that you can see the massive lists, because it's kind of fun to have all those options. But let's go over these. I'm going to start right here at the bottom. 96% lean ground meat. It could be beef, chicken, turkey. It's that processed meat that's just ground up. You can use that. Let's look at these cottage cheese. Low-fat cottage cheese and fat-free cottage cheese is a lean protein. But if you're using 2% cottage cheese or a full-fat cottage cheese, that would be a protein plus fat. So it's this process that we're starting tonight is a process of you figuring out the foods that you personally like, what categories they go in, and keep yourself a list so that you can put together some foods that you will really enjoy. So the reason that these say boar's head is because we do know that boar's head is a leaner meat, but there are lots of deli meats that are approved in the category 1. We just have that here in this way. Pork tenderloin is a lean protein. If there is any visible fat on there, we do suggest that you go ahead and trim that off. But other pork products like pork ribs and pork chops, those are a category 4 protein plus fat. So let's have a look at our cooking oils here. You could use up to 1 tablespoon of these cooking oils. 100% MCT oil is what we really recommend. MCT stands for medium chain triglyceride. So what you might have been using before Shibboleth was olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, all of those things. Those are long chain triglycerides. They have a great propensity to be stored on the body as fat because they are a longer and denser fat lipid, and they take a long time to burn up. They often don't get burned up in the same day that we ingested them, and they get stored as fat. But MCT oil is a medium chain triglyceride. It is quicker to burn up, and in fact, it has almost no propensity to be stored on the body as fat. One of the things that I teach all new people is we do not want to be collecting new fat while we're trying to access and burn stored energy. Stored energy is the energy that's in our body in the form of fat that we're trying to access. So we don't want to give ourselves unapproved oil because that'll slow that down. So we can also use coconut oil, ghee butter, hemp oil, and 0-calorie cooking spray. So coconut oil is 66% MCTs. Ghee butter is a clarified butter. And 0-calorie cooking spray is obviously something like PAM. Now, I use 0-calorie cooking spray when I am cooking a protein plus fat. But if I'm cooking a lean protein, I'm going to use MCT oil. Now, I'll talk about ghee butter in just a second when we come to an appropriate option. But I don't really use hemp oil much. There's not many MCTs in there. It's just kind of good for wellness purposes, but we don't want to focus on that one right now. If you are looking for an MCT oil to purchase, we highly recommend the one that we sell. Now, do you have to buy that and be a member of Shibboleth and buy things from us? No, you do not. But we do carry the things that we truly believe in. So if you are needing to find an MCT oil that's really awesome, we suggest the Zero Drag brand. Zero Drag. We do sell that in the Shibboleth store. You can just buy it right there on our online store. So if you are not buying that one, you want to make sure that you buy a product whose ingredients are 100% medium chain triglycerides. You don't want it to say medium chain triglycerides from coconut oil. Coconut oil is not 100%. So that's why we don't want that. You want to make sure that the bottle says that you can cook with it because that's our purpose. That's what we're doing with it. You want to be able to cook with it. And another reason that I suggest the Zero Drag brand is because it has 100 calories per tablespoon, where every other MCT oil that I've personally looked at have 130 calories per tablespoon. Well, I don't want 30 extra random calories when I can have 30 less calories by buying a particular brand. So let's look at condiments. Now, last night we didn't go over condiments at all, but our condiment rule, well, there's so many things that can be used as condiments that we don't have them all in the food library. Basically, what we do is we give you a rule for condiments. We call it the 5, 2, and few rule. So you're going to look for 2 things on the ingredients label. You're going to want to make sure that anything that you want to use as a condiment has 5 grams of sugar or less. And the word sugar has 5 letters in it. So that's how you can remember that. And then you're going to look for 2 grams of fat or less. So as long as it has 5 grams of sugar or less and 2 grams of fat or less per serving, you're good to go. And you also, that little motion I did, that's just because you're going to do a sprinkling. 50 calories, it would be your max for a condiment on a meal. You can have 50 calories worth of condiments on every meal, but over the course of a week, that'll add up to 1,050 calories, and we are looking to be in a calorie deficit. There are 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat, and for every calorie that is not spared from our plate, it's also not coming off of our calorie deficit. So what I say about condiments is just be picky. If you need a condiment to make the food taste like it should, then use the condiment. But I just found out that I don't need to slap a piece of cheese on everything that I eat and save me some calories here and there. So let's read over some of these, and I'm going to give you a real life story about a condiment that I was choosing one time. 0-calorie condiments, obviously those work, they're 0 calorie. We do sell a lot of Walden Farms products in our store. The reason I'm mentioning this specifically is because there are Walden Farms products out in other stores, but they're not all calorie free. The ones that we carry are calorie free, but the ones you might see out in stores might be fat free, they might be sugar free, but that doesn't mean that they're calorie free. So just make yourself aware of that and become a label reader and be very aware of what you're putting in your body. You could do 15 calorie or less spices and seasonings. That's often those packets that you might use to season some spaghetti or make some taco meat. You can use salt and pepper, obviously. 15 calorie or less coffee creamers if you are a coffee drinker and you need a creamer. Salsa, salsa, reduced sugar ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, Kraft fat-free mayo. Now, this is a tiny list of condiments, but we have a whole list of condiments in the food library. But I'm going to give you an example of how I find what will work in the store. I like to buy the Classico traditional pizza sauce for this little pizza sandwich thing that I make. Well, I was going in, I usually buy it at Kroger, but I was at Publix and I thought, I'm just going to get the Classico traditional pizza sauce here. I know it's approved. I'm just going to go buy that. I went back there and they didn't have it. They didn't have that brand. They did have on the shelf 6 other pizza sauces. I stood there and I turned over 6 so I could look at the ingredients label. The first thing I scanned was for sugar content. If it had more than 5 grams of sugar, I just turned that baby around because it was out of the running. And then the ones that were left, I looked at the fat content. And if it had more than 2 grams of fat, I turned it around. So out of the 6 that were on the shelf, 2 worked for our rule. And then I just decided which one I'd buy based on. I picked the one with the prettiest jar. But so so that's how you kind of can pick some condiments, because if you don't want to take the time to look something up in the app or on the website on your phone while you're standing there in the grocery store aisle, just know the rule: 5, 2, and few. Now, you don't want more than 50 calories worth of condiments on a meal, but you can use multiple condiments on a meal. So let's say that you use a slice of cheese. You're making yourself a 96% lean ground beef hamburger patty, and you're going to put, let's just say, Borden fat-free cheese on there. That's about 30 calories. Well, you got 20 more calories to play with. You could use mustard. It doesn't have any calories at all. And then you could maybe use 20 calories worth of ketchup, which is actually 1 serving of most ketchups. And so that would give you 3 condiments on there. So that's how you use multiple condiments on a meal. You just want to make sure that they all follow the rule and it's not more than 50 calories. Now, in this row that we are seeing here on this screen, you're seeing a flame and a plus sign. This flame means that this is going to be excellent for fat burning. And the plus sign does not mean we're doing math. It just means we're going to use all of these things together. So category 1, lean protein, can be eaten by itself. So what this is saying is that you can eat this, cook it up in the right oil, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you'll have an excellent fat burning meal. Now, you do not, just because you're eating lean protein by itself in this example, it doesn't mean that you put lean protein under both hands. You know, if you watched last night's video, you know that we use the two-hand rule, put together really close, and we lower our hands down over our food. And as long as we cannot see food sticking out around our hands, we're portion controlled, which is a really important part of the Shibboleth Shield that we're going to be following every day. So your lean protein in this example is only going to fit under one hand. You're not going to do it under both, okay? We're going to scroll down. Now we have a new category, category 7, shellfish. Now all of your fish is in category 1, lean protein, but shellfish is down here. The way I like to explain shellfish is it's anything that lives in the ocean or water. Basically, it's a water creature that's not a fish. And it doesn't actually have to have a shell. Example, octopus does not have a shell, but it would be in the shellfish category. So again, you can have 2 to 8 ounces. And category 7 is really just a lean protein. All right. So if you're talking with your mentor or you're reading on Facebook or you're having a conversation with somebody and they say, oh, you're going to need to have a lean protein with that, you can pick lean proteins from category 1 or category 7. If you don't even like shellfish in category 7s, you can just scratch them off and not even worry about it. Crab, lobster, shrimp, scallops, oysters, mussels, clams. Now, sometimes these shellfish taste really good cooked up in butter, maybe a shrimp scampi. That's where you might choose to use the ghee butter, Ghee butter. Doctor it up with the right condiments, and you will have an excellent fat burning meal. We're going to scroll down again. We have a new category here, HHF. Now, HHF really stands for 2 things. The HH is hemp hearts. The HF is hemp flakes. Hemp hearts are a superfood. There are all 4 macronutrients are in a superfood. So it's got water in it. You're a citizen of planet Shibboleth now, and we consider water a macronutrient. It's actually the most important macronutrient, and it's a 0-calorie macronutrient. The other things are protein, carbs, and fat. So a superfood has all 4 macronutrients in it. So hemp hearts have all 4. A hemp flake is basically a defatted hemp heart. So you take the fat out, what you're left with is good fibrous carbs, and you're left with the lean protein. So this hemp flakes are a category 1 and 2 together. Not a ton of food falls into 2 categories, and there are some that fall into 3, but not a ton of that happens. But what that means to you in this case is there's enough lean protein in it to be qualified as a lean protein. There's enough fibrous carb in it to be qualified as a fibrous carb, a category 2. So if you're looking up hey Patty, I'm glad you're listening. If you were looking this up in the food library and you see underneath categories, category 1, lean protein, category 2, fibrous carb, it just means it's got enough of both of those things in there. Very sweet hemp flakes. They have been sweetened with just a little bit of maple syrup. They also have some cassava and mesquite in them. They're actually really, really delicious. Hemp protein powder is actually hemp flakes that have just been turned into powder. Sometimes people don't really like the texture of hemp flakes. I do. They're good. You could use the hemp protein powder. There's several recipes in the food library that are a good, high quality smoothie. Now, smoothies are not all the same. You've got to make a smoothie in the appropriate way. So you could use hemp powder in that and so forth. And it took me about 6 months to start trying some hemp products, but I do like them now. I really like the hemp bars that we use, but those are actually a full meal replacement. So what this row is saying is that you could take a category 1, that you can use a hemp product listed here, cook it up in the right oil, doctor it up with the right condiment, and you will have an excellent fat burning meal. So again, these plus signs aren't math. You're just putting all these things together to create fat burning meals. So let's scroll up one more time. This row is simply saying that you can do that same thing with shellfish. I think that Travis takes his shrimp and maybe sprinkles some hemp flakes and things over that and cooks it up in ghee butter. So you could do that as an example. So we're going to scroll down. We're going to look at another category. We got a category 2, fibrous carb. When you are in weight loss mode, half a cup is really best. When you get to maintenance mode, if you want to try a cup, you can, but half a cup's really best in weight loss. And also, these items that are listed here are also freebies if used as a freebie. Just because something is a freebie doesn't mean that you can eat that freely with a meal. No matter what, you want to keep that meal properly portioned. But let's say that you've eaten that food, maybe 30 minutes later, you're still hungry, truly hungry, because I find that after 30 minutes, I'm not truly hungry usually. So you want to make sure that you could go back and use one of these as a freebie. You could do that. Hey, Deidre on Facebook. So you could do that. But let's read over this. Broccoli, asparagus, squash, okra, green leafy vegetables, spinach, cabbage, cucumbers, bell peppers, hot peppers, cauliflower, kraut, dill pickles. Now, I'm hoping that you heard something that you like, but if you didn't by chance hear something that you liked, please know there are much larger lists in the food library. So, but I also want to talk right here that there are over 60 approved bread or bread type items like a tortilla or a pita. There are over 60 approved bread or bread type items that fall into the category 2 category. They're not listed here because less bread is best. We're going to talk about some of those in just a little bit, but these are better for you than a bread. But hey, the bread works and you don't have to give up bread. We also don't exclude any macronutrients in shibboleth. You're going to get it all. So what this row is saying here is that you can take something from this category and take something from this category, cook it up in the right oil, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you can have an excellent fat burning meal. Now, let's say my first meal, I think with shibboleth was probably chicken breast and broccoli. So I had chicken breast and broccoli. I did cook it in MCT oil, and I found out I really like the MCT oil. What I did with the MCT oil that was used in my leftover in my pan. Oh, by the way, we only use MCT oil for 3 reasons: cooking in a pot or a pan, using in a recipe, or making salad dressings. We don't put it in coffee or make shakes with it or just take it as a supplement. We don't want to just add random calories to our diet. We're using it purposefully for those 3 reasons. But what I did with the MCT oil that was left over in my pan, I took a spatula and I scooped it all out of the pan into a little ramekin. And then I used that extra MCT that was left that hadn't burned up in the cooking process as a little au jus sauce. So when I cut my chicken breast, I just dipped it in that. It was tasty. I liked it. And then you can take a condiment if you want to. You could put that on there. So there's lots of options here. So I'm going to stop right here and just say, y'all give me some thumbs up if you understand what I'm talking about, that you would take something from the lean protein category, something from the fibrous carb category. You can use an approved oil and you can use a condiment if you want to, and you would have an excellent fat burning meal. Y'all give me a thumbs up if you are on the same page with me. Okay, I see those on Facebook. Awesome. Awesome. You guys in the Zoom room, y'all got what I'm talking about? I hope so. I'm going to assume that you do. Ask questions if you don't. Okay. This would be a 1 plus a 2. And a 1 plus a 2 that can be cooked in MCT oil, thanks, Alan, is the fastest fat burning combination. We call it exercise on a plate because the amount of calorie burn that it takes to break down the lean protein and the fiber and the fibrous carb is almost a negative calorie meal. So let's say that you eat a meal that is 300 calories, but the calorie burn that it takes to break that all down is 300 calories because it does require a lot of energy to break that down. That's really a negative calorie meal, or a wash at least. So that's really awesome to think about. So let's scroll again. This is just saying you could do that same thing with shellfish. You do the same thing with shellfish. Oh, I'm going to go back up here. Do you know that in a category 1 and 2, you could have a grilled cheese sandwich? Does anybody like grilled cheese sandwiches? I know that I do. What I do is I take, it's not listed here, but I take the Borden fat-free cheese, which is actually a category 1. It can also be used as a condiment, but it's a category 1 lean protein. I take a category 2 fibrous carb bread. I use the I can't believe it's not butter spray, and I've got a 1+2 as a grilled cheese. So that's combining. I'm making it as to a sandwich. The other thing I want to say about category 2 is you can have more than one category 2 in a meal. So let's say that you take some boar's head turkey deli meat. And then maybe you take a Laughing Cow light, like the wedge cheese, and you spread that on, let's say, an Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber tortilla. So you got your little cheese part, which kind of takes the places of a mayonnaise. It gives you a cheesy flavor, it gives you a little moisture. I actually take a little bit of everything seasoning and I will just sprinkle just a little bit of that on there. Put some lettuce in there. That's a category 2 as well. So my Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber tortilla is a category 2. The lettuce is a category 2. My boar's head turkey is a category 1. And then I use the Laughing Cow cheese as a condiment and I sprinkled it with some everything seasoning, which really didn't have any calories. So that is a category 1 and 2 right there. And if I wanted a little extra something next to it, I could do an appropriate chip that would go with this, or maybe some category 2 fibrous carb crackers. We've got some of those left in the Shabola store right now, but I would use those as a side item. So now we've come to a new category, category 6, superfood. So let's read over this list. Pintos, black beans, red beans, soybeans, peanut butter, nuts, seeds. This is also where your avocados are. Now, if you are eating a category 6 superfood by itself, which you can do, you could use a cup up to a cup and a half. And that would be what your portion would be. But if you're using a superfood as a component of your meal, a properly combined meal, you're not going to use a cup to a cup and a half. That would be way too much. That's only if you're eating it by itself. If you're eating it as a properly combined meal, your superfood's probably going to sit about right there on where your fingers are. And maybe you have a lean protein here and a fibrous carb here. So maybe you have a chicken breast, some black beans, and some broccoli, and you could properly combine it. That would work. So do you see how this plus sign went from a flame and to no flame? That does not mean that it's not great for fat burning. This is great for fat burning. But one of the things I want to start to do right now is just to start to teach you the little nuances of what's excellent for fat burning and what's great for fat burning. The things we previously went over before this are excellent for fat burning. This is still great for fat burning. It's just that if you really want to see the results, you might want to do some of the ones we've already gone over. So now we have a new row. This is adding in a category 2 fibrous carb to our superfood. So we can take something from this column or category, something from this category, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you'll have an excellent fat burning meal. Now, you may have noticed that the category that had the fats, the healthy fats, is gone. You could use 0-calorie cooking spray. You could use water to cook, whatever, chicken bouillon. You could use other things to cook, but you would not want to add healthy fats, even healthy fats, because they have calories in them and they are a fat lipids to things that have a superfood because they have some energy carb component of the superfood. That's why it's not here. Okay. So you don't want to have fat with carbs. And superfood has some carbs in it. Not a fibrous carb either. They've got some other carbs. So you don't want fat with that. So that's why that's not listed anymore. So let's scroll down. We have category 4, protein plus fat. Now, if you'll notice, see how it went down 2 to 6 ounces from the 2 to 8 ounces from above? 2 to 6 ounces is because 1 gram of protein has 4 calories. 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. So you're getting the same amount of calories probably in a 2 to 6 ounce portion rather than a 2 to 8 ounce portion of lean protein. So that's why there's a little bit less. This is where your whole eggs are. Your egg whites were above in the lean protein category. All of your cuts of steak are right here. Now, obviously, some cuts are leaner than others, but all steak is here. Pork ribs, beef ribs, turkey spam, pulled pork, beef brisket, 93% lean up to 95.9% lean ground meat, and turkey kielbasa as long as no more than 50% of the calories come from fat. So you never want to eat anything that has more than 50% of calories from fat. This 93 to 95% lean ground meat is approved, but if you had a meat that was less lean than 93%, it is not approved for a perfect shibboleth day, because basically if they take ground meat and it's less than 93% lean, what they've done is they've taken some fat and they've added a little bit of meat to it. It's packaging, it is advertising, and it's not good. So we don't want to do that. So 93 to 95.9 would be a category 4. Let's talk about this turkey spam. I always like to just touch on the turkey spam for a minute because people just crack up sometimes that we've got turkey spam listed. Well, the reason that we have turkey spam listed is because we do not discriminate against foods. We are not here to pigeonhole you into paleo. We're not here to pigeonhole you into Whole30 or keto or whatever. We're going to teach you what will work together. And that means that we don't discriminate against foods. If the foods work due to the nutrition label with their fat amount and all of that, then we're going to put it in the food library. But it is up to you to choose whether or not you want to have that thing. But it is not necessarily something we are promoting. Will it work? Yeah, it'll work. But are we promoting it? Not necessarily. We're just being neutral. Does it work? Yes, we put it in there. You choose. So this is the way I like to put that. If you like grass-fed, grass-finished beef, I mean, some of the highest quality beef that you can find, you have the budget for it and that's what you want, then yay, you do that. But if you are a turkey spam budget or just a turkey spam purse like turkey spam, then you can do that. Okay, so we're teaching you what to do. You choose the quality of the food that you purchase. So just to recap, you can have a category 4 by itself, but right here in this example, this is showing you that you can put a category 4, protein plus fat, with a category 2, fibrous carb. So if y'all see something that you would eat out of that you can make a meal with, y'all give me some thumbs up if you can make a meal with something from this category and something from this category. Y'all see something that you would like to make a meal with? Oh, good, Alan. Good. You know, we do deal with a lot of picky eaters. Now, I had a lady on here one night that said, no, I don't see any of that. So what I suggested to her was to make sure she went into the food library and picked out all the ones that she liked. Because good, Janice, what's the most important thing to do is to figure out all of the foods that you personally like. This is a customizable lifestyle. You don't have to eat things you don't like. So just make sure you go to the bigger, larger food library and look. So, but I'm glad, Alan, that you see some things that you would like. And you'll notice here that there is no fat here either, because you don't need extra fat. There's already fat here in this protein plus fat. So this is where, let's say I'm cooking some whole eggs, I'm going to use 0-calorie cooking spray. But if I'm cooking egg whites, I'm going to use a little bit of MCT oil with that. We have come to a new category here, category 3, energy carb. When you are in weight loss mode, about 1/4 of a cup is what you would want to eat. And again, we're going to use our hands, our measuring tools. That 1/4 of a cup of whatever you choose to eat as a category 3 is going to sit about right there. Now, remember, if you watched the video from last night, I said I trained myself to think, ding, 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 category 3, I want to eat a category 3. Let me reverse engineer this. I must eat a category 3 with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So we're going to read some over this. We're going to do the science lesson behind this. White potato, sweet potato, oatmeal, steel cut oats, weight control oatmeal, long grain brown rice, quinoa, lima beans, peas, tomato, onion, carrots, whole wheat pasta, and whole grain pasta. So hopefully you saw some things that you saw that you would like to eat on this list, but I'm going to talk about a few of these things. There is whole wheat pasta and whole grain pasta listed. Now you can have about a quarter of a cup of it with the rest of this, how you need to combine it. But you do have better pasta options. Some of the better pasta options would be the Explore Cuisine pasta. They have a black bean pasta, they have an edamame pasta, and they have some other pastas too, but the Explore Cuisine pastas would be better. They're actually a category 1 and a category 2 together. That means that it has some lean protein in it and a fibrous carb in it, enough to qualify as both. The other pasta that most people really like to use is the carbonara pasta. It's actually a category 1, 2, and 3 all together. So that means it has lean protein in it, fibers, carbs in it, and an energy carb. So you could also use the carbonara. Now, I'm going to ask an application question. If you have a pasta that is a category 1 and 2 together, and let's just say that you wanted some meat with that pasta, which categories could you pick the meat from for a category 1 and 2 pasta? That's a good application question. So if we have a category 1 and 2 pasta and we wanted some meat with it, which categories could we choose that meat from? Yay, Alan. That's awesome. That's right. 1, 4, or 7. Yep, Deidre, you could do a 4 with that, but you could also have your 1 and your 7 because it's got lean protein and fibrous carb in it, and you can have a category 4 with that. But let's think about that carbonara pasta. That pasta is a 1, 2, and 3 together. Ding, ding, ding. 3 tells us that which one of those that you just listed, Alan, will not be eaten with that carbonara pasta. 4, that's right, because you do not want to put any protein plus fats with anything that is an energy carb. And if energy carb is enough in that pasta, then it'll bring the fat bus and it'll collect fat. We don't want that to happen. Good job on the application there. Excellent. So carrots, if you're just eating some raw baby carrots because you need a freebie, that's how you would use carrots that aren't cooked. You could use them as a freebie. But if you're having them cooked, it brings more sugar to them after they kind of caramelize, I guess, then you've got to call that a category 3. Onion and tomato, the way I like to explain that is if you're using enough onion and tomato that it's going to be up to a quarter of a cup, then you need to make sure that you combine it properly. But you can use a category, no, you can use an onion or a tomato if you're just like using a thin little slice, no thicker than your pinky. You can use that as a condiment on maybe that hamburger patty. But if you're using up to a quarter cup of it, please consider it a category 3 so that you make sure you combine it right. All of your peas are here. Most of your lighter colored beans, like the lima beans, are here. But every once in a while, there's a garbanzo bean. It is lighter colored, but it's a superfood. So this is why it's ultra important for you to look up the foods you specifically like and know what category they go into, especially on those beans, okay? So we're going to do the science lesson real quick. Let's say that you want to eat some lima beans, okay? You're going to do about a quarter of a cup of them. So they're going to be sitting about right here where your fingers are on your hand. If you want to eat an energy carb, it must be eaten with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So let's just say that we made some 96% lean ground beef hamburger patty, and You actually could do a bun with that. That's a category 2 fibers carb bun if you wanted to. But let's just say a better choice would be, and it's not even on this list, but I'm just going to use green beans. So maybe you have a 96% lean ground beef patty, green beans, and lima beans. That would be a properly combined meal. You just want to make sure it's also properly portioned by using the 2-hand rule. So the lima beans that you ate, they elevated your blood sugar level. The pancreas then secretes some insulin to deal with that blood sugar elevation. Now, because we're eating in a way that controls insulin, we have combined it with a lean protein, that 96% lean ground beef patty, and the green beans, which are the fibers carb. Well, the protein in the hamburger patty and the fiber in the green beans are going to help neutralize the insulin release that came from you eating the lima beans. That's the science behind that. That's what we want to do. We want to control that insulin. We want to let food kind of be that medicine for us, which is great. Now, also, at a quarter of a cup, did you overeat lima beans at quarter of a cup? No, you didn't. So that's a good thing. You didn't overeat those lima beans. But the more of it you eat, the more insulin comes out, and we don't want to have to deal with a bunch of insulin. Also, you'll notice that there's really no fat in this meal. There's no fat. If there is, it's negligible in a lean protein. There's no fat in fibers carbs. There's no fat in the energy carbs. So these things don't have fat in them. It's the nature and the way that this energy carb responds in your body that creates a problem if you've had fat with it. So we're not going to do any category 3s with our category 4s, protein plus fat, and you're not going to see the healthy oils and cooking fats right here. You could use 0-calorie cooking spray or other water and things like that to cook. And I hope that makes sense. So what this is showing you is that you could take something from the lean protein category, something from the fibers carb category, and something from the energy carb category, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you would have a great fat burning meal. So let's scroll down again, and we're going to see fruit. Now, I'm going to read the first 4 because all fruit is in fruit, so I don't need to read all that list. But the reason I'm going to read the top 4 is because these are really the best if you're wanting to eat fruit during weight loss. All of your berries, apples, a medium or small apple, oranges, a medium or small, and a half a grapefruit. So these things would work best because they bring the least insulin impact. They have the least glycemic impact on you. So let's say that you want to have half a grapefruit for breakfast. Well, maybe you choose to make an egg white spinach omelet. The grapefruit is going to bring a little bit of an insulin release, and you've paired it with egg whites, which are a lean protein, and spinach, which is a fibers carb. Well, the protein in the egg whites and the fiber in the spinach are going to help neutralize the insulin release that did come because of the blood sugar elevation that you had from eating the fruit. Science lesson. That's what's happening in our body. It's so important that we are aware of what's going on with the different foods we eat in combination with each other and what happens. We're not going to see any of the healthy fats and cooking oils with this either. A lot of people like to take the Greek plain yogurt and maybe take some hemp flakes, because remember, hemp flakes are a category 1 and 2, and maybe put a few berries on there and make a little parfait. That's a real popular thing that goes around from time to time. So you can do that. Now we're going to scroll down and we're going to look at some other options and food things. Category 2 breads, we've already mentioned that less bread is best, but we do not exclude any macronutrient. We're just going to tell you the ones that will work for what you're trying to accomplish. So you could do the La Tortilla Factory 50-calorie tortilla, the Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber tortilla, Healthy Life bread, Nature's Own, well, they quit making Nature's Own double fiber wheat bread. It's actually called Healthy Life Keto or something from the Nature's Own. But don't think that every Nature's Own bread is a category 2, because they have a bun, a hot dog bun, and a hamburger bun. They are category 3s. So you'd want to make sure that you didn't have any protein plus fats with that. So just because it's a nature's own product doesn't lend itself to it always being a category 2. So just make sure that you are aware of those things. Bran crisp bread, it's actually not even a bread. It's a pretty dry cracker, but it's really good. I enjoy the sunflower seed flavor and the pumpkin seed flavor. They're really good. You could also do the Healthy Life hot dog buns. They are a category 2. You could have a category 2 hot dog bun. And the Thomas Light 100 calorie English muffins. You really don't want more than 100 calories worth of bread in a meal. So you're just going to want to keep your eye on that. So you could have 2 slices of something. If you're making a sandwich, you could do that, but you don't want to go over 100 calories with that. So some of the improved sweeteners are stevia, Splenda, monk fruit, xylitol. Now, I'm going to touch base on the Splenda. Do we promote Splenda? No. But can it work for you for your what you're trying to achieve? Yes. So we're going to tell you that. So that is up to you whether or not you use artificial sweetener, because some people don't want to use it. Well, then you don't have to. Some people don't mind. Well, then you can. So approved beverages, obviously we're going to get our water in. Now I've got my water right here. I'm making my way through this water tonight. One of the things that I've had to do, I know this might be strange, but in the winter, I have found that I get a little bit colder when I'm drinking my water. I heat my water up in my kettle and then I drink it warm during the winter, but I don't during the summer. I drink cold water. Not cold, I even drink room temp. I'm not a fan of cold water because I can drink it faster when it's not cold. And that's just me. So you can use any 0-calorie beverage, but it does not take the place of your water. You can do unsweet or approved tea. It does not take the place of your water. And you can do coffee with approved sweeteners. It does not take the place of your water. So you want to make sure that you always get your water in. 64 ounces would be at least 4 of these, but you're really shooting for a gallon. And shooting for that gallon would be 8 of those. It'd be 128 ounces. Let me promise you this. If you are working on getting your gallon of water in every single day, you are more mentally and physically satisfied. You will think about food a lot less because you're going to be full of water. Let's look at some cheese. Condiments, you can use these cheeses. These cheeses actually are a category 1. Most of them in this Cabot extra light cheese right here is a category 4. So they have their own category, but you can use them in a condiment amount of up to 50 calories. Fat-free feta cheese, Kraft fat-free cheese, Borden fat-free cheese, Cabot extra light cheese, Laura Lynn fat-free, Kroger brand fat-free, and Lifetime fat-free. Travis feels like this Lifetime fat-free cheese is the healthiest. He buys it from their website and has it mailed to his house. I like the Cabot extra light cheese. It's a block cheese and it's a category 4. And I really like the Borden fat-free cheese because it comes in a couple of different flavors and it's just a quick and easy sliced cheese and it melts really, really great. So let's look over here at these lean protein milks. It's important to have a milk if you drink milk that has really that's no fat or no fat, and it's also been fortified with protein. It's very important. Typically, when we are having milk, we're often having it with something that's a little bit starchier, and you got to offset that starchy with the protein. So if you're using this lean protein milk, which actually is a category 1 lean protein, and you're using it as a component of a meal, you can use up to 8 ounces of it. But if you're in a hurry in the morning and you just need to get something down before you leave out the door, you can actually do 16 ounces of that and just call it a meal replacement. But you could use fat-free Fairlife milk, Kroger Carb Master milk, and hemp milk. You can use all of those things. Does anybody here drink almond milk? I'll keep talking, then if I see you, I'll answer. Alan says, okay, their family does. All right, so if you drink almond milk, you want to make sure that that almond milk is unsweetened. It needs to be unsweetened. If and it's a category 4, it's category 4, so you want to make sure. All right, listen in, Deidre. Yeah, okay, so almond milk is a category 4 protein plus fat, so you do not want to have it with category 3 energy carbs, category 5 fruit or category 6 superfoods. You're not going to eat it with that, okay? Now, a lot of times people use it with their cereal. So I want to make sure that you are aware of how to have almond milk with cereal. And I'm going to get to it when I get to this cereal column. So I'm going to go over this first. Breadings and flours. You can use coconut flour, Carb Quick flour, Bob's TVP, which is a textured vegetable protein. It's actually a soy product. Almond flour. So all of these are actually category 2 fibrous carbs. This Carb Quick is like Bisquick. You can make waffles with it, pancakes with it. You can make cheddar garlic biscuits with it. You can bread some chicken breast with it. You can do all kinds of things. I like to put it on some okra and then I just put that okra in my convection oven and let it fry up, and then I eat it and it's delicious. So, and there's also a cornbread recipe called the perfect cornbread that people love that's got several of these things together mixed in. But you can have there's a category 2 fibrous carb breadings. It's awesome news. So cereals, you could do up to 1 cup or 1.5 cups. The cereals that are listed here, and I don't mean to blow your mind by saying this, but these are considered phase 1 cereals. I want to explain to you briefly what phase 1 and phase 2 means. So many people ask me, when am I going to get out of phase 1? Never. Phase 1 is the foundation of the program. It's the healthiest version, okay? It's basically whole foods. You're combining whole foods and you're eating. But see, not everybody's going to do that forever. Some of you are already used to eating out of the inner aisles of the grocery store. So we need to teach you which cereals would be best, which soups would be best, which frozen meals would be best. And so phase 2 is really just us opening up a little bit more variety to you. Does not necessarily mean that it's healthier or better. So these 3 cereals listed right here, Kashigo Lean Original, K's, and High-Low Nutritious Living, those are all those are all phase 1 cereals. There's more phase 1 cereals than this. There's probably 10 or 15. So what's really important with this is if you want to drink that almond milk, it must be eaten with a phase 1 cereal, because you don't want to have it with a cereal that's too starchy and there's no chance of, I mean, you're going to bring the fat bus with that. So what's going to happen is that almond milk is protein plus fat. There's some fat lipids in your body. You have it with a starchier cereal. It brings that insulin release. That insulin gets super excited and says, yeah, I'm going to go collect those little fat lipids and store them. So if you want to drink almond milk, make sure that it's a phase 1 cereal. Now, do you know that Captain Crunch cereal is in phase 2? See, it's not necessarily better for you. But if you want to have Captain Crunch or a phase 2 cereal, and by the way, in the food library, it would tell you this information. You must have that with one of those lean protein milks, because it needs the lean protein, the protein fortified milk, to offset the starchiness of that cereal. Is that making sense? This program, I'm so glad I didn't have to come up with it myself, but I'm so thankful that it's there and I get to use it. So I'm not going to read over condiments. I've already talked about those tonight, and I'm not going to read over all these restaurants, but I am going to just say what you need to do is you need to go into the restaurant guide. Go to the restaurants that you frequent the most often and read through what is listed there. But don't just assume that you can order it the way that it's on the menu. Click the item and then read how to order it. Why that's really important is because it may say to you that you need to bring your own tortilla or bring your own bread. And if that's the case and those things are important to you, then you're going to want to make sure that you take what we call a survival kit and you have in there what you need. You want to make sure that you've got that in there. So I just kind of learned to live without it, but you want to make sure that you order it right. Let's just kind of look at these top 2 here. Chick-fil-A, 8 to 12 grilled nuggets with a side salad. You're just going to save the French fries for a holiday. You can have the light Italian dressing with that. If you're willing to give up 4 nuggets to get 8 fried nuggets like me, then you can do 8 fried nuggets with a side salad. You can also do their fried filet. Yep, but at Chick-fil-A. You don't think you can do it other places. Chick-fil-A's works out the way they cook it. We've already looked at all that. So be very specific in restaurants and make sure that you're ordering just how the restaurant guide will tell you. You can also use their spicy fried filet and their grilled filet. You're not going to use the bun, obviously, and you can order it with a side salad. And if you do like their lemonade 1 small is considered an extra. Their diet, I meant diet lemonade. Their diet lemonade is not calorie free. It's got about 50 calories in it. So that's why you have to call that an extra. So if you're having a diet lemonade with that, call it an extra. All right, and then one thing right here that I think they need to add are a little list of meal replacements. Meal replacements are very, very important because not all of us are going to get up and cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We do need to have some quick and easy things. And if you were eating Pop-Tarts before or muffins before, you've got to have another option. So we need a little meal replacement there. So if you are in the Shibboleth new member fast track group, I'm going to show you where to find my 10 favorite meal replacements. Otherwise, you can look them up in the food library. But let's go right here to this. I'm going to click see all. This is some food that Joni put in there. That's that carbonara pasta right there with Travis spaghetti on it. This right here are those berries, the hemp flakes, and the Greek plain yogurt. So we're going to scroll on down. That's me, by the way, 50 pounds heavier, 50 pounds lighter. Here's a meal plan I generated using the meal plan generator. Feel free to check that out. This is me showing you how to use the meal plan generator. This is a worksheet that you're going to be working through as you go through the fast track laps. This is very important that you go through all the fast track laps and do the little tasks. And then this is what I ate for my first 20 days. It's an image and you can print that off. So you could use that if you want to. Look at this. I ate about 20 Mighty Muffins in my first 20 days. The Mighty Muffin tasted good. I knew that it was keeping me in EFB, efficient fat burning, and it kept me satisfied. So I ate a lot of Mighty Muffins. I don't eat nearly as many now, but you could use that if you want to see. It's not a magical meal plan. It's just me being transparent, showing you what I ate during those first few days. First 20 days, I lost 12.5 pounds eating that, which was nice. We're going to scroll down until we find the meal replacements. This is a video of the origins of Shibboleth. I would suggest that you watch that. Meal replacements. Okay, so somebody asked me one night to put this together. So I made my top 10 favorite meal replacements, and they're listed right there, and how I use them is right there. So you want to make sure that you have some meal replacements. And if you are working through this worksheet like you should be, see right there where it says MRs, this is you looking up your favorite meal replacements or making some meal replacements ideas and suggestions that you might want to try. So I'm going to go to the Shibboleth website. I want to show you where to mark off that you have participated in tonight's live webinar. You're going to go to your dashboard. You're going to click on Fast Track. And in lap 3, it says right here, participate in the Monday night live webinar. Well, you've done that. So you can go and check that box. You're going to work through all of these laps throughout the week, and just to make sure that you know, this video here is me sharing my screen, showing you how to do all of those videos. And all of those little tasks. And after you've done each task, you're going to do a little checkbox. But all of this is written in a way, as it's a curriculum, basically. It's a curriculum in order to educate you on, one, setting up your account, this My Shibboleth account, to have the absolute best account set up for yourself, and how to use the website. What I am hoping is that it shortens your learning curve, makes you familiar with all of these important parts of the website. And then you're going to make sure that you watch these 14 little fast track videos right here. There's 14 of them, but it takes you little less than 1 hour to watch all 14. So they're very short, topical topics, and they basically are helping you recap and pull together last night's webinar and tonight's webinar too. So while we're on here, does anybody have any questions? And Patty, I like that you're not getting on the fat bus again. I love it. Oh, I wanted to show you one other thing. We're going to go to the Shibboleth website, and I want to show you those phase 1 and phase 2 cereals. So I'm going to click on the food library, and I clicked on resources, then I clicked on food library. Do you see right here in the categories where it says phase 1 cereal and phase 2 cereal? This is where you'd want to make sure that if you're using almond milk, you're picking a cereal from this one. Alan says, I love Diet Pepsi. You said it was on the beverage list with 0-calorie drinks, but is there a catch? No, you can drink it. Now, here's the thing. It does not take the place of your water. You've got to get your water in. And what I might do, Alan, is I might try to drink 1 Diet Pepsi a day, okay? Just to try to start limiting that and getting more in. But there is no catch to it. It just doesn't take the place of your water. And for your best results, you're going to want to be shooting for that gallon of water. But you can have Diet Pepsi. Just make sure you're getting your water in. All right. Well, we're going to hop off here. I truly hope that you will work your way through those laps. I created that system with Sasha to help make sure that everybody had the best setup, the best education they could in the first week. So I hope that you do yourself a favor and every day kind of set aside an hour of time just to work through that. It's important. It's important, and you are worth it. You are worth the time that you'll put in on yourself to learn this information. You're welcome, Alan. Awesome. If you have liked the Shibboleth public page on Facebook, you can find me in the morning sometime during the 7 o'clock hour Eastern Standard Time doing something that I like to call the Shibby Show. So please join me in the morning. It's a great way for us to focus on what we're doing for the day and just have a little devotion and a little time together, because we're doing this together, and the support and the people that are doing this alongside of you in this lifestyle are some of the most important and fun things that you can do. All right, we're going to hop off, but I will see you for the Shibby Show in the morning. Bye, everybody. You're welcome, Patty. You're welcome. I'm glad you joined us.